Hey, what's up? It's Daniel with UponArriving.com, and in this video, I'm going to give you 5 special tips for enrolling in global entry. So before I jump in, if you're new to this channel, I cover credit card rewards, hotels, airfare, and a lot of other interesting travel topics. So if you like that type of stuff, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so that you don't miss out on anything. So what is global entry? Well, it's a special program that allows you expedited entry back into the US. So those really long lines through immigration and customs that can back up and be as much as 45 minutes to an hour long, well, you can actually breeze through those with global entry. And for that reason, I'm a huge fan of global entry. I'll probably have a video kind of detailing the process for that in the future. But for now, in this video, I'm just going to focus on the enrollment process and give you 5 tips to kind of help you get through that process. And by the way, if you have global entry, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you think it's overrated, if it's worth it. So tip number 1 is what I call the global entry birthday trick. So a lot of people know that global entry is good for 5 years, but a lot of people don't know that that 5-year period doesn't start until the birthday following your approval date. So for example, if I were approved for global entry tomorrow, my 5-year period would not start until my next birthday. What this means is that if you can time your application so that you get approved right after your birthday, this effectively gives you about 6 years of membership versus only 5 years. So this works out really well for some people, but if your birthday is kind of far out or if you have trips coming up, it can be a little bit difficult to do. So that's why it brings me to tip number 2, which is to get the Mobile Passport app. So Mobile Passport is a free app and it does not require any type of interview, but it's a way to get expedited entry back into the US. Basically how it works is you just upload your personal information, your travel details, and then you'll get a little code that you can use to go through a Mobile Passport station. The drawback to Mobile Passport is that it's not available at every airport, but if you want to find out more about which airports currently accept Mobile Passport, and also if you just want to find out more about the app in general, be sure to check out the article in the description below. So tip number 3 is to check availability for the global entry interviews on a daily basis if you are forced to wait very long for your interview. Some airports will force you to wait several months for your global entry appointment, but what you can do is you can actually check for availability on a daily basis, once or twice a day, and then you can just reschedule your appointment whenever you find an opening. And once again, if your global entry interview is scheduled for very far out, consider going with an app like Mobile Passport. That way you can actually still get the expedited entry while you're awaiting your interview. By the way, if you want to find out more about global entry interviews, like what to expect, what kind of questions they'll ask you, be sure to check out the article in the description below. Now, something else to consider about your interview is that some airports do allow you to come in on a walk-in basis. Now, this really differs from airport to airport, so you definitely want to do some specific research for the airport that you're going to be going to. But some will allow it even though they don't actually state this in their terms. Just keep in mind that if the line is very long and you show up trying to get in as a walk-in, your odds are going to be much tougher. But maybe if you show up first thing in the morning before the crowds really get bad, some airports may kind of be a little bit more lenient and allow you to get in on a walk-in basis. So tip number 4 is to consider an on-arrival interview. So now a lot of airports will allow you to take care of your global entry interview whenever you arrive back in the US from flying on an international trip. Now these are only available at select airports, so again, if you want to find out which airports you can do these on-arrival interviews at, be sure to check out the global entry interview article in the description below. So tip number 5 is to use a credit card to cover your global entry application. Nowadays, a lot of credit cards offer global entry and TSA PreCheck credits. So TSA PreCheck is $85 and global entry is $100, so you get more value there. And I would always recommend you to go for global entry if you can, because if you get approved for global entry, you also get TSA PreCheck. Now, something else that is nice about global entry from the credit card perspective is that you actually pay your application fee online. So this allows you to use someone else's credit card to cover your application, which is nice because a lot of people actually have multiple cards with these credits on there and they don't really have any other use for them. So you could use your card to cover the application fee for a family member or a close friend or someone like that. And note that TSA PreCheck actually requires you to make the payment in person, so you typically can't use a credit card in someone else's name because they'll force you to have a credit card in your own name. Also note that some credit cards will offer this global entry credit with authorized users. So a great example of this is the American Express Platinum card. That card is actually one of the best for authorized users because you can add 3 authorized users for a total cost of $175. So with 3 global entry credits alone, you're actually coming out on top by $125 already, not to mention all of the fantastic lounge access and other benefits that you get as an authorized user. So that's it for my 5 tips for global entry enrollment. It's a pretty simple process, but these 5 tips could hopefully help you to get through the process a little bit more smoothly. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and also check out the links in the description below.